Hey everyone, I'm back with the DIY embellishments video, and these are dimensional speech bubbles. They're super simple, and I had a lot of fun making them, and I hope you guys will love them. The first part is on my computer. I'm simply going to pull up PicMonkey, and I'm going to click on Design, and then I am going to find the 8.5 by 11 template. This is for people who don't have as many tools or don't have maybe a speech bubble die cut. I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can hand cut them by using a template. So I clicked on the butterfly, which is highlighted in blue at this point to the left. That is for overlays. There's different overlays on PicMonkey, and I've talked about this before, but I'm simply going to click on different speech bubbles and arrange them the way that I want them. And this doesn't really matter. They're just going to be cut out and used as a template. So you can use them, you can resize them, you can have bigger speech bubbles, you can have smaller ones. I'm just going to kind of pick a few and then go from there. They are at first, they are in white, and so I do have to change the color to black. So that's what you saw me doing over on the overlay palette to the right, or the overlay setup. Once I get them arranged, I'm simply going to add them into, number one, I want to save it as a JPEG so that I can put it in my photos, which you can put a PNG file in your photos as well. But I also want to upload it to the Silhouette software, and I'll get to that here in a little bit. So one thing I want to kind of tell you guys right off the bat is the reason I did this and I'm doing them in black is because I guess you could do them really in any color. I just chose black so that it would show up really nicely on camera. But one of the reasons I'm doing this is so that you can see how to make these by hand. So I simply went to export. That's important because you don't want to save it. It'll try to save it to like the PicMonkey software. You want to actually save it to your desktop or somewhere like in your photos or whatever. And I'm saving it as a JPEG. And then I am going to minimize my screen at some point. I think I just clicked on the Silhouette software and it's taking a little bit to load. Yes, there we go. I'm going to minimize my screen. I'm going to pull up the Silhouette software, and you'll notice that I have only saved it as a JPEG at this point. I'm not too concerned about that. I will go in and save it as a PNG right now. So I export it again. I'm going to save, and I'm going to pull down the JPEG little tab, and I'm going to just push PNG, or I'm going to click on PNG, and then I'm going to leave the dimensions as is, and I'm going to export it to my desktop. So now that I have that, I have pulled up my Silhouette software, and I'm not going to go through all the tips and tricks on this because most people know how to use this. I want to show you guys how you can hand make them, how you can do them in your Silhouette, and how you can do them with die cuts. So this part is how you can do them with using your Silhouette. So you'll notice that I have just the black speech bubbles there. I am going to go ahead and set up my trace lines so that I can get these cut. And I'm going to add an 8.5 by 11 to my 12 by 12 mat. I'm going to add a piece of pattern paper because I want the speech bubbles to cut out the same size as I'm going to print them. I hope that makes sense. And you guys will kind of see why I'm doing that. So to trace it, I just unclick high pass filter and move the threshold all the way up, and then I trace the outer edge. And then you got a perfect trace. So I'm going to go ahead and get those cut. I'm not going to go through all of that because if you guys want more detailed videos, I can do that at a later time. But most people know how to use the Silhouette software. And this video is really more for the DIY embellishments part. So I want to move the JPEG into my photos. And let's just pretend that I've gone ahead and I've cut my pattern paper, my speech bubbles from pattern paper. Now I just want to print these like the normal size. I'm just going through to my iPhoto and printing them, clicking on best quality, which I don't think that really matters, and then I'm going to print those out. So now I have a template that's in black and white, and I also have speech bubbles that are cut that are perfect to that size. Now, you guys are probably wondering, now, why would you cut a template and cut some from your pattern paper? It's because I do want to show you guys a handmade version as well. So you can use die cuts, and you can even, and one of the reasons I'm doing the template is because I want to be able to trace it onto foam. You can use your pattern paper for that, but that's if you have a Silhouette. So if you don't have a Silhouette, this is kind of the video for you, or if you don't have dies, this is the video for you. So I'm going to pull my foam because these are going to be dimensional, and I'm simply going to trace a few of these speech bubbles just by using my template and my scissors. I'm going to cut them out, and it's going to fit near perfectly. Now there might be a little bit of overhang, and if there is, then you can cut off the excess. Now you'll notice that I picked up one of them that I'd cut by by using my silhouette. You can use that template for pattern paper as I'm doing right now. So you don't have to cut it with a silhouette. I just happened to make it easier on myself and cut several with a silhouette that are the same size as the template. So when I used the template to cut out of the foam, it matched perfectly. So I don't necessarily have to go through all of these handmade ones for my video. But if you don't have tools, simply having a printer will work, and having scissors and some pattern paper will do the trick. So this is if you want to use die cuts. I have these really cute little speech bubbles. I'm going to link them down below because I got them from Joann's, and they're and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me post my new goodies, and it was in that picture. And I also it was a Stamp and Cut set by Hero Arts, and I also used those stamps in a recent Plan With Me video, or not a Plan With You video, Plan With Me spread. And I went ahead and I cut several of those speech bubbles out of those dies using those dies out of the foam and out of the patterned paper. So you'll see right now that I'm simply using my adhesive, my Tombow Mono dot runner, and you can use a tape runner as well. I normally link both of them down below. And I'm just going to match up each of these foam pieces to the coordinating pattern paper or the coordinating cork, which I love cork. You guys know that. So I went ahead and cut some cork as well. But you remember that I also hand cut some. So I'm going to work on those as well. I went ahead and I went ahead and used my template for the other speech bubbles. So the circular ones, I did not actually, I had to use a template for those. And then a few of the straight edge ones, I used a template. And so right now I'm using one that I hand cut using the template. At least the foam, I hand cut that. And then that pattern paper, I did cut that out of the silhouette. As I said before, you can use the template for both the pattern paper and the foam. You don't have to use it for, you do not have to have a cutting machine for this. And if you've kind of watched my process so far, you probably realize that I'm doing some things out of order, but that's just the way that I'm working. You don't have to do all three mechanisms. You can just use your silhouette and cut both the foam and the pattern paper. I used my die cuts to cut both the foam and the pattern paper, and I used my scissors to cut both foam and the pattern paper using that template that I printed. So I kind of did everything on the computer at the beginning so that you can kind of see the process for a couple, both silhouette and hand cut or handmade. So now I've pulled several of the roller date stamps that I have in my stash, and I want to make some little tiny text words. So you guys know this is kind of a double DIY. You guys know I love tiny text words. I use them on my DIY embellishments all the time. In fact, I don't know that I have a video recently where I haven't used them. And I really wanted to make some of my own. We can use stamps all day long, of course, and I know these are considered stamps. We can use clear stamps, I guess I should say, and those would be just as nice, but I really wanted to do something a little bit different. And also, roller date stamps are really quick. You'll notice that all I had to do is really turn the knobs, and I got tons of stamps in a very short amount of time. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm going to pick out the ones that I thought turned out well, and I'm going to go ahead and cut them up. So I actually use Memento black ink, the Tuxedo black ink, and also Memento, oh goodness, London Fog maybe. And I'll try to link those both down below as well. I've had the Memento black ink for a while, probably got it at Michael's, and then I just got the Memento gray ink at, it's a little dewdrop ink. Where did I get it? Oh, from Joann's. So I will try to find those and link those down below. And I'm going to continue to cut these out. And now that I have my foam pieces and my pattern paper layered, I want to try to, obviously, I want to add something on top. You can leave them as is, and whenever you are creating, you can pull them from your stash and add things like to your liking that go with the project that you're working on. But I really wanted to show you guys kind of that full process. So I'm going to use, oh, I guess I didn't mention this. I stamped them on sticker paper, which made it a lot easier. I did not have to use adhesive. The only tricky thing is just having like a little bit of a fingernail to get the adhesive backed paper from the actual sticker, but it didn't actually take that long at all. So some were way easier than others, but I'm using, again, the stamps that I use with the roller date stamps. I'm just going to or the stamped pieces. I'm going to add those to each of the speech bubbles, and then I'm going to set them aside. I really love the look of, I think, embellishments that are up on some sort of dimensional. But one thing that I really love about these is that they're even all the way around, so it really looks like a finished embellishment. And so that was one of the things that I was kind of shooting for, was not that it looks like it's made by a manufacturer. I mean, it's still very handmade, but I just love how finished it is. I'm going to continue adding my stickers, my little handmade stickers. Also, the majority of these papers were from scraps, so that's a great way to use up scraps. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. I don't think so far. Oh, the foam. I purchased the foam probably from Michael's, but it's just the fun foam you get at your local craft store. So, and may have even been from Hobby Lobby. I'm not 100% sure. So I kind of ran short on my little stickers, so I just pulled from my stash, and they ended up looking just fine. Now for some of those that had a little bit of a gap underneath, I'm just going to add one little touch, but I'm going to leave these really simple because that's kind of what I was going for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions. Let me know if you like this kind of video, if you want to see more shapes like this. You could do this with anything. I mean, with clouds, with hearts, with whatever. And I hope you guys really had a blast watching this. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.